here to show you how to do the water test on an Instant Pot. This video is for those of you who are totally brand new to pressure cooking and totally brand new to the Instant Pot. You may be asking, why would I do a water test? There are two reasons why you want to do a water test. Number one, you want to make sure you become familiar with your pressure cooker. Number two, you want to make sure that your pressure cooker is working. I feel really so sad for those of you who have pressure cookers that are hiding in your closets, just waiting to be used, and a year later you bring out your pressure cooker and for some reason it does not work. I don't want that to happen to you. So when you get your pressure cooker out of the box, there's a couple of things that you need to do. One is to put the condenser cup on. I had a devil of a time putting this on, but simply it is a little white plastic cup that goes on the outside of your pressure cooker. On the back of it is your condenser cup. The purpose of this condenser cup is to gather any condensation that may be coming out of your pot and collecting in this rim up here. Not a whole lot. You may not see a lot of water condensation in there. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that it's snapped on securely. The next thing you want to make sure is that your pressure cooker is plugged in. Simple thing, but the newer pressure cookers for Instant Pot, the Duo, I believe, has a removable cord. You want to make sure that it is seated firmly in your pressure cooker. I've got this smart cooker here and it has an attached cord and it's plugged into my wall. So turning around my pressure cooker, the next thing here is your liner. This is the liner that goes inside your pot and holds your food. You do not want to put anything inside here. Big no-no. Never, never, never. Always use your liner. Make sure that's in here. In the water test, in the manual, it says to fill to the 3 line. It doesn't say if it's 3 cups or 3 liters. Kind of confusing, but what I'm going to do is something that's short, quick, and a little bit less than 3 cups. So, are you ready to start your water test? Great. Pressure cooker's plugged in. Now we need to check the lid. This is your pressure cooker lid here. I had a hard time putting this lid on. I wrestled with it for about 10 minutes trying to line up the arrows, look at the open, look at the closed, and couldn't do it, couldn't figure it out. I was getting frustrated. Simple, simple technique. If you look at the top of your cooker right here, think 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That works for me. The other thing, my son did this for me. He highlighted the ceiling and the venting right here. Oh my goodness, what a game changer. It helped me tremendously. So to put your lid on, it's 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock when you're looking at the top of your pressure cooker. The next thing is this valve regulator. It comes off for cleaning and snaps on. It doesn't move very far. It goes from ceiling to venting in just a short distance. For the water test, you want to have it on ceiling. This right here is your pressure pin. When your pressure cooker comes to full pressure, that pin will go up. You might hear some hissing and steaming coming out of the vent or out of the pin right here. That's okay. It will quickly stop and measure. 11 o'clock. There's 11 o'clock right there to 12 o'clock. Practice that a couple of times until you feel comfortable with it. So here we go for our water test. I have 1 cup of hot water. If you use hot water, it will help your pressure cooker come to pressure a lot faster. Inside the liner, not inside the pot. 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. See how easy that was? The next thing you want to do is become familiar with the buttons on your machine. A lot of buttons might be intimidating to a lot of people, but for right now, the only button you need to worry about is the manual button. This is the manual button right here on my smart cooker. You push it, it defaults to 30 minutes. We don't want to spend 30 minutes doing our water test, so we're going to hit the minus button and hold it until it gets down to the number 2. There's the number 2. That's it. You don't have to push start. You don't have to do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around or anything like that. Now your pressure cooker, there's a beep that tells me that it's on, and there's a sign that says high and pressure. That's really all there is to it. So if you want to get started on the water test, now's the time to do it. You won't have to hide in the closet, worried that it might do something strange and crazy, and it is really, really straightforward and simple and easy to do. This is not your mother's pressure cooker. This is not your grandma's pressure cooker. My mom had a stovetop pressure cooker for years, and it's only been in the last 10 years that I've used an electric pressure cooker, and I absolutely love it. It is a time saver, it is a water saver, it is a game changer for me. So while this is coming up to pressure, you might hear some hissing and steaming going on there. Make sure it's on sealing, not venting. If it's on venting, the steam will come out of the pressure regulator and it will not come to full pressure and seal and stop and cook your foods. So if you're sitting there waiting for this to come to pressure, you might want to think about a couple of things. First of all, how full is your pot? If you have a lot of liquid in your pot, say for stew or soups or something like that, it will take some time to come to pressure. Now, think about your oven. Your oven takes time to get to a certain temperature. It takes time to boil water on the stove. This will take a little bit of time to come to pressure. For 1 cup of water, it takes about 2 minutes to come to full pressure. Now, let's talk about where to put your pressure cooker. An ideal place is on a peninsula or an island where you don't have cabinets or something covering, because what's going to happen is when you open that release vent or the pressure valve, steam is going to come out. The first time I showed my friend how to do this, she about had a heart attack because she was not expecting something so loud and noisy. So I should have warned her about this, so I'm warning you. It will be loud, it will be noisy, and the only way to do it is with a pair of tongs. The safest way to do it, maybe tongs, chopsticks, something like that. This is underneath my cabinet right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my pressure cooker slightly so the valve, when it comes to pressure and releases the steam, it is not underneath my cabinets. I don't want to ruin this finish on my cabinets. So I'm going to turn this around. There's where my pressure valve is, and it's away from my cabinets. So think about where you want to place your pressure cooker. Some people are very limited in their counter space, and the only place they can put their pressure cooker is on the stove. If you choose to do that, please put something like a cutting board or a cookie sheet or something on the stove and take the knobs off the burners, if you can, that go to those stove burners. It's really sad to see a lot of pressure cookers, especially if you're new to pressure cooking, sitting on a burner that's coming to heat and melting the bottom. It's accidental. I've seen it happen on many times before. You bump a knob, a babysitter accidentally turns something on. It can happen. I just heard some clicking, and that means my pin just came up. And it sits there. There's a little bit right there. There's a steam right there. You can hear that. I'm going to turn it so you can see the display. It says 2 minutes. Now this will count down 2 to 1, and then the display will say L0:00. That means it's done pressure cooking, and then it's going to start timing up how long your food has been sitting here. This is another feature I love about this pressure cooker. It's when your food is done, it will tell you how long it's been sitting there. You might have a recipe that says NPR, which is natural pressure release, 10 to 15 minutes. That is after the countdown has finished, and then it starts counting back up. You wait for that 10 to 15 minutes for the pressure to release naturally before you start releasing the pressure. Awesome, awesome feature. There are so many safety features built into this pressure cooker. If you fill it too full, it won't come to pressure. If you don't have enough liquid in it, it won't come to pressure. You'll get some warning signs on your display like overheat, or if it's too full, then it will start counting down without coming to pressure. You won't have to worry about things exploding or blowing up. However, if you have a full pot of soup there, I would recommend not filling it up more than 2/3 of the pot line, that you've got levels in there, and letting it release naturally. If you try to release it while it's still full pressure, you might get a spray of your soup or your rice or anything, or pasta, or anything that's starchy or foamy in there. So it's better for those kinds of foods to let them reduce pressure naturally. There is my timer right there. It will say 000, and then the L for most of your pressure cookers means that it's on low or keep warm. A good question some people have is, when it's on the keep warm, do you have to let the pressure go naturally all the way? You can. Once your temperature in your pot reaches about 140, 145 degrees, it will stay there. But the pin will drop anytime before that temperature, depending on how much liquid or how much food you've got in there. So you can open it before it goes to the 140, 145 degree temperature, keep warm. Okay, my pin is up and my timer display says 00. I have two options. I could do a QR, which is a quick release, or I could do the natural release. I've talked a little bit about the natural release, which is letting it sit there quietly for a while, or some foods require a quick release, such as vegetables that you only cook for like a minute or two. And you just don't want to cook them any longer, or else they turn mushy. So what I'm going to do, see, here's your number one. That means my hot water has been sitting there for 1 minute at a natural release. I'm going to turn my pressure cooker so the steam valve is away from my cabinets. Okay, do not use your hand to open up the steamer valve. Use a pair of tongs or some chopsticks, or a handle of the wooden spoon. Here comes your steam. You can do it in small bursts. Yeah, we'll bring it up here so everyone can see the dirt in small bursts. Or if there's nothing and they're foaming and spewing out, you could fully release it. It's pretty noisy. Depending on how much you've got in there will determine how long it takes to come down to pressure. There's only a cup of water in here, so it's going to take maybe about 15-20 seconds for it to come down to pressure. You will not be able to open this pressure cooker while the pin is still up. When the silver pin drops, which it did just now, you can open it. Now, when you open it, make sure the steam is away from you. You don't want a facial at this point. Lots of steam, and there's the handy dandy rest on your Instant Pot that holds your lid. Another great feature that I love. With my other pressure cookers, I was holding the lid trying to find a safe place to set it down. This is awesome. So there you have it, the water test for your Instant Pot pressure cooker. If you want to see me do some hard cooked eggs, leave a comment below. I'd be happy to help you. Have a great day.